Today's question is, what are the biggest challenges I face in my spiritual journey, and how can I overcome them? Well, the biggest challenges you face in your spiritual journey are exactly what you're up against, which is your ego. Your demand for things for yourself. Your desire to get to somewhere better than you are right now. I've used spirituality in a very egoic way in the past, where I want so badly to be the spiritual guy. I want to call myself a spiritual person. And I've said this before. Every time you hear someone call themselves a spiritual person, really, they can go ahead and stretch out those vowels so that they're extremely annoying. I'm a spiritual person is my interpretation of that. Man, I just thought of something I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, the ego. The ego is just something that's always going to be there. And you just got to acknowledge it. You're always going to want to be better. And a lot of the times you're going to want to not only be better than you are right now, you're going to want to be better than the other people that are around you at any given time. It's hard not to get spiritually judgmental. Judgment is a huge obstacle to spirituality. You're deeming something to not be the way that it should be. And it's a very it's kind of a catch-22, where by being spiritual, you're trying to better yourself, but then you start viewing other people as not as good as you because they're not meditating or contemplating or trying to figure out things. And so then it's actually taking away from your spiritual practice while you're doing your spiritual practice. And it'll just keep going in the cycle, and you'll find your way out of it. But that's a common little whirlpool that I found myself in. But, man, I just got really judgmental while I was talking. And this is a funny little moment of self-awareness that you get to witness on camera. I judge people for calling themselves a spiritual person, but what am I doing when I do that? I'm sort of asserting myself as above them, as saying that I have found the actual spiritual path and they have not found it. It's like, I know they haven't found it because they're proselytizing about it. They're self-aggrandizing about their spirituality. Unlike me, who's completely humble about his spirituality all the time. Stupid head. It's like that's just such a funny little, wow. Yeah, another challenge to spirituality is not realizing when you're letting your ego slip back through the door, in through the back door is the way they say that. It's so easy. It's so easy. Every single second you are fighting against self-identifying again as something great. Or even if you're not identifying as something great, it's just like, sometimes your ego presents itself as saying like, hey, I'm not a good enough person for this challenge. Of like spirituality. There's no in between. A lot of the time it's either like, I am God, like I'm already truth realized, like I've figured it out, guys, I'm pretty much there, to like I'm absolutely nothing, I progressed nothing in any of this, my life is just a dark shadow and it's hopeless and it's always going to be. There's obviously a comfortable middle ground that you find yourself in sometimes. But I feel like a lot of life, it is going to be that pendulum swing, whether it's spirituality or anything else. All the self-analysis and getting wrapped up in your interpretation of how you're doing. It's just funny, instead of just allowing it to be what it is. But you can't think your way, okay, I'm just going to allow things to be what they are now. Like, it doesn't work that way. It has to be a real, authentic experience. it's so Zen riddly. It'll drive you wild trying to figure that one out. And I guess I'll say this was very unorganized, but another big challenge is that the people around you are going to tempt you into following your lower path, whether that be through things that are addictive that they're offering you, not even illegal stuff, just like, I don't know, entertainment or food that you're trying not to eat, or just general lackadaisical attitude toward life, laziness. The world will never stop having people around you that are going to tempt you to come back down to those lower habits. Like it's never going to run out of them. You can choose to surround yourself with the right people, but society at large is always going to offer this great temptation. And so being present through that temptation with yourself and saying, I am going to continue following this path, even acknowledging that some part of me wants those things. Let me know if you ever figure it out, because I sure haven't yet.